Okay, so today what we're gonna do, we're just gonna review this slide deck, but not all of the slides to it. What we're gonna work on is, because you have a compare contrast essay due the night before we come back to class. So that is the 21st, maybe, something like that, right? No, yes, what, something, 22nd, something like that, I think the 22nd, 11:59 p.m. So I wanna make sure that you get a good start in the essay. So we're going to dissect our prompt, whichever prompt you've chosen. We're gonna break down that prompt so you can figure out what your answer is you're looking for. We are gonna practice or build our outlines, okay? We're gonna pull those together. So I wanted to go over a few things. This is the first slide deck in the unit. The second slide deck, I did upload it to YouTube this morning, and I will add it in either tonight before I walk out of here, or tomorrow, and I'll upload this one as well, okay? But there are a couple things you wanted to remember that you were looking for. The introduction. Your introduction should include background information about the topic, a clear thesis and claim that shows what is being compared or contrast. So this should say and. So we humans, we make mistakes too, okay? This should say and a clear thesis or claim that shows what is being compared and contrasted. You have to say that in the intro. You all remember when we were looking at that essay that was cut up? Yes. And the mistakes that they made in that one? They did tell us what was being compared and contrasted. They didn't perhaps say it correctly, but they did tell us. You have to tell us what is being compared or contrasted. So when you're reading, what you want your reader to know, or what you need to do is, what are you comparing and contrasting? What organizational pattern are you using? Because I was trying not to pull this down, but clearly I don't have to. Yeah, I started the recording, and I'm gonna still be me and make all sorts of mistakes while I go. All right, so you need to know what organizational pattern you're gonna be using, and you need to, for sure, be sure your ideas and your claim, whatever you're saying to support your claim, is clearly supported. Don't be fickle with it. Don't just make it up, and don't give your reader. You have to use ethos, pathos, and logos, okay? So ethos, your ethics, your morals, your credibility. If you don't give good support, then you're not credible, all right? You assume you are in this class, you're listening to me, and I'm telling you how to write a paper. Why are you listening to me, and what is making you do what I tell you to do? Because there's credibility. There's a reason why I'm standing in front of you doing this. That's automatically my credibility, right? Now, mind you, when it says rate my professor, if you go on there and you see people saying, oh, she's like a drunkard. You know, she comes in, she falls all around, she never does this, she never does that. You might be sitting here like, well, I heard it was an ETA. But my credibility still says I should be able to tell you how to write a paper. Your credibility on this subject, what you feel about this subject, is how logically you put it together, okay? Your support that you state, your passion, how you feel about it, the words you use, the tone you give, that's what helps the reader themselves understand and move along and believe your claim, okay, to go with it. And finally, I said ethos, pathos, logos, your logic. Your logic helps your credibility. So don't be illogical in what you're saying. Make sure it makes sense, okay? Make sure it makes sense. And then finally, this one, what would you want your reader? What is it you want your reader to do with the information? What should they be able to do with that information? Did they learn something? Should they grow from it? You know, every time I read you all a short story in here and we talk about it, I want you to have grown with a little bit of the history, because I try to give you a little bit of history about some part of what we read. It could be the time period, time frame, something about the author, but you grew in listening to that. What do you want your readers to take with this information, to go with it? But make sure it has background information. So your introduction is going to give you, if I'm asking for background information, what am I talking about? There's one little thing that you're gonna have to put in that intro. We practice writing them.
Brief state.
for sure, because that's the tagline, right? Title, author, something else. I got
Theses.
Well, yeah, it's gotta have a thesis. Quote.
Citation.
Main idea.
We so close. Come on, we so close. Something you practiced. Every story, you have to write one.
You said in the intro.
It's asking for background information about the topic.
The question?
No, we don't. The question may not provide background information, but something. The question is being asked about a text, right?
Restate. Well, we're not ready.
The purpose.
No. Your purpose of it is gonna be your thesis. That's gonna be your purpose. Good try. Come on, y'all. Starts with an S.
Summary.
Yes, the summary. That's your background
Is
information.
it the same thing as conclusion?
Huh?
Is it the same thing as conclusion?
Completion?
Summary.
The same thing as conclusion.
No, absolutely not. No. Your conclusion is a restatement of your introduction. It's just turning it around, changing how it looks. That's it, okay? But you're basically, your conclusion is, I said what I said, okay? So that's it. But your summary is your background information, all right? Background information is your summary. Where did I put those two markers? Oh, good grief.
So
All right.
in the intro.
So summary is your background info. So your intro has to have a summary, okay? Because the reader has to know what you're talking about. You're almost refreshing the reader's memory. So if I'm as an example, if I'm a grad student and I'm writing a seminar paper comparing two authors, right? Two authors writing. And I want to use a couple of their books in there that they've written, a couple of their stories in there, even though my professor has, especially like, for example, when I took a women's lit class, even though my professor, she's a doctorate in it. She's been teaching it for 40 years. She's read everything, right? But when I go to write my paper, I need to refresh her memory about the short stories that I'm talking about. So I'll provide her a short summary that is angled towards my claim. So if I want to say that Tang Ao on Discovery had a bad attitude and blah, 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 then I would find words that pull that together, right? Or if I want to say he was scared and emotional, I would find words for my summary that pull that together, okay? So you have to do a summary. Your intro should include summary about the topic and a clear thesis claim that shows what is being compared or contrast.
So we would have a summary of both regret and the story of it all?
Yes, but you're not gonna have, you don't have to have a full-blown summary, which is why we were practicing it, okay? So if you wanted to do a combo summary of them, I was helping someone, there was someone's paper, someone's summary, I was just rewriting the intro to it to show them that they need to always add, when you do the summaries, they always need to add the author and the title of the text, right? And so I just kind of changed the words because they wrote a good summary, but the way it was written needed revising. All right, so however, let's wait till we get down there. Wait till we get down there. Okay, so remember we're gonna choose, when you're looking at yours, you're gonna choose which organizational pattern you're gonna do. You're either gonna do the block, which remember, the block pattern means that whatever points you're trying to make, so if you're trying to compare or contrast, then if you're starting with regret, then everything you talk about with Mademoiselle Orly, her neighbors, whatever, all of that is in one area. You don't bring in, and that doesn't mean, block does not mean that it's one big block writing. You can do paragraphs talking about your points. You can literally do paragraphs. So if you want to talk about regret and you want to do block organization, Maybe there's 3 things about it that you want to talk about. Well, each one of those 3 can have its own paragraph, but you don't bring up the story of an hour until you're done. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You don't compare within the paragraph. You completely say this one, and then when you get to the next one, you go on the other hand, or in contrast, or similarly, like that, and then you only talk about the other text. That's what block is, all right? Point by point means that when you're discussing it, and remember it has to stay parallel, correct?
Yes.
When you're discussing it, whichever one you start with, if it is going to be regret, then you're going to talk about regret and the story of an hour. But when you go to discuss that point, you're going to talk about regret's point, and then you're going to do similarly or contrastingly or on the other hand, and then do the story of an hour. Same paragraph, same point that you're trying to make. Then when you want to get to the next point, you're going to start once again with regret. Additionally, regret has this going on, blah, 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 this is the text evidence, which shows blah, and contrastingly, the story of an hour does not go that route. It does whatever, and you do that whole point. Then your next paragraph is the next point. Does that make sense? Do y'all see how I slept on it? And my brain is now working and everything? I have not looked at it since then, but I slept on it, and it all just because I don't process fast. I don't. And I don't expect you all, which is why I'm so glad to do the videos for you. Okay? All right. So these are all your transitions that you would use. So you might use like this one right here. Also, next, furthermore, another, finally, first, in addition as well. Those are what you would use going from paragraph to paragraph. Or within it, to talk about like the same person. So if you're still talking about regret in this paragraph, then you would use those, okay? But if you're moving on to the story of an hour within that paragraph, then you might want to say, however, although, even though, like that, in contrast, to move on to the story of an hour. Like that makes sense to y'all? Y'all good?
Yes.
Do you feel like you're picking up a little bit more from last class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I got a question.
Yes. Who? Oh, Tom. What's up?
So on both of them, they both don't they don't go together in the same paragraph.
If you do, hold on. If you do, and even though it's gonna be there. If you do block, right? And that's why we're gonna do this. So if you do block, and we are both talking about, let's see, we're talking about regret and the story of an hour, right? So in block, you're gonna do regret. Regret, point 1, point 2, point 3. And then down here, you're gonna do the story of an hour. So this is your thesis. Your thesis has them both in it, okay? And then here, so this one is talking about regret. And this one is talking about TSOAH, the story of an hour, point 1, point 2, point 3, and then your conclusion. That is block. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What?
Point by point. And so I actually have a little video which I'll add in there. It is one of the videos I did was talking about parallelism to make sure you got it. So this one is the point by point. So the point by point, you have your intro, right? Now this is the same for both of these. Intro with summary and thesis, right? So intro with summary and thesis. And then, so your thesis, again, is gonna have both regret and the story of an hour, right? Because we wanna know what you're talking about. So, alright, so you're gonna start with the regret again, but this is point by point. So now we're on point one. Point one, regret, then both within that same paragraph. Point two. Point three. In conclusion. So I'm gonna add something on here for you. So this is showing point by point. So notice how before you're completely talking about the one story here and you're doing your point one, point two, point three. So this is 3 paragraphs for that, okay? And then next you go to this other one and it's this short story and it's 3 paragraphs for that one. So this is telling you this is gonna be like an 8 paragraph, right? Because you're gonna have your intro and then you're gonna have your conclusion. But I wanna make sure you all see this. Now here, point by point, before I show you what I wanted to make sure you see, you got your intro, summary, and thesis. Your thesis statement is gonna have the compare, contrast. In this essay, I will be, will be a comparison of these two, right? You have point one, which is gonna be regret and the story of an hour. That does not mean that that's 1 paragraph. If it takes you 2 paragraphs, then it's 2 paragraphs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But the point is they're together. You don't go to the next topic discussion until you have completed it for both of them. And remember, paragraphs, we are not in 3rd grade. Paragraphs are not 3 sentences. So you might have a 10 to 12 sentence paragraph. You truly may. You may have one longer. If the longest word had over 13,000, the longest sentence had over 13,000 words in it, then your paragraph can have over 10 to 12 sentences. Do you understand? It's up to you how you want it, and if it's just that paragraphs have to be uniform, you can't jump subjects in it. So you have to make sure you're staying on point, okay? On topic. I don't wanna keep saying point. You have to make sure you're on topic in there, because if in any way you switch up the topic, then you need to move the paragraph. You need to move to another paragraph. All right, so you got this one, and then your next point is gonna start with regret again, then the story of an hour, and then your 3rd point, regret again, the story of an hour. So this one as well, this may be a 5 paragraph essay, it could still be an 8 paragraph essay. It's up to you. But what I also want you to know is this is where we start looking at these transitions, all right? So in these transitions right here, you'll have point 1 where you would start, right? But then between them, you might say, additionally, let me make sure. Yep, additionally, just as one. Oh my goodness, I spelled it wrong. Furthermore, because this is where another example is happening, right? So furthermore, and that's when you can use this furthermore, another example, or another instance that they are similar, furthermore, right? And then, so this one would be, you could use,
In addition, as well.
you can do additionally, because I did furthermore here, and then, hold on. So yeah, we can do and another, or we can do in addition, finally, you can do finally. Any of those, does that make sense? I was just trying to look at one, just trying to see. So, you've got, those are your transitions going from this one to that one to that one, right? Then, make note of here, there needs to be a transitional sentence between these, or a transitional way to move it over. So that's when you're gonna say, contrast, even though, so here, regret does something, however, the story of an hour does something else. On the other hand, if you're contrasting, so now here we are again, on the other hand, and then the last one, let's just go ahead and say that they are similar. The other hand, where is it similar? Because I can't even, oh, these are contrasting. So I don't see, I don't see, we'll just say something like similarly, if they're the same, okay? Just as an example. Okay, so do y'all see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and it's the same over here. It's the same over here. So when you were doing this one, so for regret, you're showing the 3 points. So with these, you're gonna do another example like that. And then another one is furthermore. Because you don't want to use the same thing. You want to use different ones, right? So do you see there? So these are, so this is regret. You're talking about regret and you're going through the points. So as you go to, you're saying point 1 and you're giving text evidence on it, right? Then you're gonna do a transition to the next point. And you do a transition to the next point like that. Even if you don't have to do one big paragraph, even if you're doing 3 paragraphs, you're gonna start each paragraph with the transition. Got it? Hello? Got it? And now, before you hit the story of an hour, you gotta do a big transition there too. So now, if you're contrasting, then you would use one of those as well. Cause you gotta use a big one to show that you're going to the other one. So it can be the same thing. You can use one of these, not the exact same one, but you can use, you can simply say in contrast, okay? In contrast, the story of an hour does what? But you still have to do what? Transition. Got it? Between these. So you have to transition between the points and you have to transition between the text so that they will know what you're doing. The reader can follow along. So instead, yet, I'm just choosing some. Nevertheless, let me see. So this transition is instead, and then the next one will be it can be finally again, if we already used it. Finally, right?
But we can't use it twice, so.
You can use stuff. I mean, you don't have to say finally. There's another word to use it. Remember I showed y'all the thesaurus?
Yes, ma'am.
This is not all inclusive in any way, shape, or form.
Gotcha.
I'm just using the ones that, huh?
What you have right
Yeah, that's it. There are so many. What?
there. Is it on the video?
The others?
No, the what?
I don't know if you can see it. So
Cannot.
no, I meant on the
Recording.
yeah. I don't know that you can see it on the recording. But there's my work recorder. I know you got the other stuff behind you. How does it look? No. Right? No. So we'll do just a quick. Can you see it? It looks
So will we need a transition after point 3 or no?
after point 3
On the block by block.
on the block by block. After point 3, your next sentence is actually going to be your conclusionary sentence. Your next paragraph.
Just take a picture just in case I use it.
Okay. So your next paragraph, your final paragraph, and that's when you can say on a final note, something like, I will pull up for you guys. I'm going to pull up. I know I have it in there, but I'm going to pull it up. So y'all get this. Mind you can take pictures of it after you leave. I mean, when class is over. And we're going to use it because we're still going to work on our stuff, which I feel like right now, y'all trying to push us to the 720 time. Oh, look at y'all learning. I'm not mad at you.
And
Okay.
for the stories, we have to have 3 answers.
If you were doing 2, that's why we have to break down we're gonna break down our thingies, okay? Because we wanna see, do you have 2 answers or do you have 3 answers? you know? Okay, so, hold on. Let me go over here into, just to check and see if I have it in here. Transition. No, I got somebody else's. I don't even know what hers is. Let's look at hers. So list of transition. So she did this. But I don't want that. So this is what I want y'all to have. Transitional words and phrases. So when you go in here, you see how they go through? And they list so very many of them for you?
Transition words and phrases.
Yeah, so I'll just put a link in there for you, and this is just one of them. This is just one. There are so many, so when we go back, you literally can go up and you can go right here to where it's asking you. So when you wanna do similarity, it just takes it down to it by the same token in similar fashion in the same way. There are so many. Here, 33 transition words and phrases from Merriam-Webster. I created a word when I was 11. I should have told Merriam-Webster about it. Now I don't want to say anything because I don't want nobody out here trying to steal my word.
So you can't tell us.
Fibulation. It's a okay way to say lie because my mama said lie.
Telling the field.
So fibulation, the act of fibulation. All right. Anyway, so look. So you have, see how they have even more? So you all you literally have to do is type transition words and phrases and you're gonna find a ton of them, okay? You just have to make sure that they make sense. So make sure they match and make sure they make sense. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this back up. Our slide. Okay, so we're not brainstorming just yet. Okay, thesis statement, we've already gone through this. We're not worried about that. Remember your thesis is either gonna be, it's gonna be the plan of development, like telling you where you're going, very, very clear and concise with the details, right? Or it's gonna be generalized. So this one, the generalization was Ellie form, a dog's purpose, and the canine comfort dogs have many similarities and differences. So that's just gonna say they've got similarities and differences. This one gives you exactly what you're going to. So you guys, for the most part, are gonna be doing this one because you're doing race. If you're doing race, you don't get to be kind of simple with it because you have to restate what the prompt is saying and come up with your claim at the end of it. Okay, so these were examples. This is what we just did, y'all.
Yeah.
Didn't we just do that? What? We did. Okay. All right. We're not about to listen to these stories. That's not necessary. So now what we're going to do is we're going to dissect these prompts. Okay? So I'm going to pull this back up. Oh, come on. Y'all watching me on the camera? Because it's old fashioned. If they don't get rid of this. Alright, so we are going to dissect this prompt. How do both regret and the story of an hour explore themes of marriage, freedom, nope, can't do that. Dadgummit. I just want to make sure we got one. Alright, so move the mouse off of it. Okay, so how do both regret and the story of of an hour explore themes of marriage, freedom, and or societal expectations for women in the late 19th century. So the first thing we're doing is we're choosing what do we want to do. We got to choose two themes, right? We got two stories, and we're choosing two themes. I'm sitting up here thinking, am I making y'all do too much for choosing two themes?
Yes.
Marriage and freedom.
See, she didn't say that. She came up with her two themes.
I mean, I did number 2, I did it, but you asked the question, I just answered.
I know. Okay, so regret the story of the hour. So this one right here starts with regret, so we can follow it. But that was me. Got it? That was me. So which two you want?
Marriage and freedom.
Marriage and freedom. Okay. So we're gonna do marriage and I'm thinking, y'all, because I want you to dissect it. So how is the process?
So we're starting with thesis.
Well, we are going through and dissecting it. That's all. So marriage. So how is the process, right? Regret is first. Second is this one. And then it's saying explore. So what does it mean when it's saying explore?
Go deeper.
Like go deeper into both of the texts.
Both of y'all said it. Go deeper, right? So you're going to go inside the text. You really have to go in and see. It's not saying that it's literally sitting on top. You need to go in and find what you're looking for, right? So this is go deep. And then your themes you've chosen, right? And then expectations. What does that mean?
Like
What,
Huh?
the end,
I didn't hear.
expectation. What you are expecting at the end.
Oh, expectation. No. No.
it's basically like what women are meant to do, but they're not supposed to do.
Expectation.
What is it supposed to do?
Like what women
Like,
back
What's
then
their
were
thought of-
expected
what's
to
their
be
thought of
doing.
that? What is thought of? Like,
what's thought? Okay,
it's
how?
not the fact, but it's just the thought. It's like a thought.
It is. It's a thought. It is. But when it's so, for example, in my classes, my high school classes, I give them expectations, right? That's because it's not nice to say rules, right? So what rules? That's really what it is. These are requirements. These were not. It wasn't like a nice. Oh, we would love for you to do this. It's a rule. The expectation is it's a rule. It's a requirement. So we know that especially because they were for who?
Women.
For women. We don't have any, but guys were supposed to take care of their families, right?
Yes.
So we each had some expectations, some rules, some requirements. All right, so rules or requirements. And then in the late 19th century, so what years are we talking about?
1901.
19th century,
1890 something.
1800s, right? 1800s. But, so we're really thinking like 1870s and beyond, right? 70s to 1899. All right, so we've kind of broken it down a little bit. So now we're talking about marriage, explore themes of marriage. So marriage and freedom. So the theme of marriage is whatever we came up with. Is it, you have to go in there. Is marriage, in both of these, what do you get about marriage? Good or bad?
Bad for both.
I think
She
both.
said bad. What'd you say?
It can be whatever you make it, or both.
It is, but now if you're coming,
Choosing one.
if you remember you gotta choose your words.
Mhm.
You have to choose your words, and mind you, this is still a rough draft. So the most important part is figuring out what the overall concept of what you're trying to say is, and then go back and fix it, okay? So marriage, it could be good or bad. I think it's more bad, for Louise, and then for Madame Aubry,
She wish she did. She
if she really wanted marriage, but we know it's strongly likely she wanted the children.
Children, yes.
And that was the only way, respectively, to get
Yeah, back then.
it. So we don't, did she want to give up her what?
Freedom.
For kids. So freedom for both, is freedom a good thing?
Yes.
Yes.
But you can see where Mamselle is rethinking it. Like, was her freedom worth?
It worked it.
She regretted it.
Yeah, she.
See? Okay. So there. All right. So let's see. So now we have to, we have our prompt, what we're talking about, but we have to start it off. We have to start off. So we know, let's do the, let's go ahead and almost do the thesis statement first, okay? Which is, so we'll say both, we'll start it just like that. Both regret.
And the story of an hour.
Mm-hmm. And
Written by,
TC,
was it Joy?
right. Now we don't have to say, the reason I'm telling you this right now is because we're just doing the thesis statement. It's the last part of the intro. We don't have to say Kate Chopin, because we would have said Kate Chopin in the beginning of the intro. Does that make sense?
No.
This is,
Okay, so if we were starting off the beginning of it, we would say,
okay, got it. That's following the thesis, the.
Yeah. Kate Chopin's
Oh, okay.
regret and
Story of an hour.
the story of an hour, TSOAH. You will not do that, okay? Exemplify
Themes of marriage and freedom.
contrasting views or perspectives. Right? And we leave it at that, because now we're gonna say, regret shows Mamselle, and this is what the other student wrote, strong, independent woman, strong, independent.
So that's basically the background?
Mm-hmm. Unmarried. So this is if you did them separately, right? If you did them separately, while regret shows Mamselle Arlie as a strong, independent, unmarried, childless, spelled it wrong, childless woman who unexpectedly has 4 children dropped into her lap, right? Unexpectedly has to care.
And feels lonely once they leave.
Care for her neighbor's children. Neighbor's small children. Regret, so I'm putting while right there, right? While regret shows Mamselle Arlie a strong, independent, unmarried, childless woman who unexpectedly has to care for her neighbor's small children, TSOAH is the complete opposite. As, what's her name? Louise, I forgot her name.
Matter.
Huh? What'd you say?
Miss Matter.
Yeah, Louise Mallard is an oppressed, frail, young, is an unhappy, oppressed, frail, young married woman. Young married woman. So we're given and we could say, we don't wanna tell too much, right?
Like the summary.
Yeah, so this is your summary. You see how we didn't give a whole lot about it? You might be able to say a couple more words. So regret shows Mademoiselle, and I don't even like shows, but shows Mademoiselle Arley as a strong, independent, unmarried, childless woman who unexpectedly has to care for her neighbor's small children. TSOH is the complete opposite, as Louise Mallard is an unhappy, oppressed, frail, young married woman who unexpectedly gains her freedom. So both of them had, it unexpectedly gains her, and we could say independent if you wanted them to match, or you could say, because we didn't take away freedom from here, strong, independent, unmarried, childless woman who unexpectedly has to care for her neighbor's small children, loses her freedom when she has to care for her neighbor's small children. Childless woman who loses her freedom unexpectedly has to care for her neighbor's small children, while TSOH is the complete opposite, as Louise Mallard is an unhappy, oppressed, frail, young married woman who unexpectedly gains her freedom, her independence and freedom.
And is it okay if I use it like, of course not what you were using, but the same outline and the question? Because I was gonna do that.
Well, I'm assuming some of you will. People online are gonna do it. And so you all, I'm showing you what to do. You gotta come up with your own stuff, right? But does that make sense how that's the summary?
Yeah, because that goes on into what the topics that you're gonna go into.
Right. So we're saying that. So Kate Chopin's regret and TSOH exemplify contrasting perspectives. So they're told from these two different perspectives, right? Regret shows this, while TSOH shows the complete opposite. But that's what I chose to write about. You can say that they show similar things in terms of a loss of freedom, or you know what I'm saying? You find the similarities. Got it? You do it. I'm just showing you what to do. So now you're gonna say both regret and TSOH explore themes of marriage and freedom, because this is your race, right? Freedom, marriage and freedom, for women in the late 19th century. Okay.
Oh, so
now,
that one you're doing 3 topics?
no, it's just doing 2.
It's marriage, freedom.
I didn't do societal expectations because I didn't catch that expectations was actually talking about this. So that's or societal rules or requirements. That's what that
I
goes.
thought that was part of the 19th.
I did too. So no. Anyway, because it's just when you're working, you just moving. All right, bye. You can say, so here's where when you have to answer your question, now you're saying by or because or with. And so by, and this is where you put your,
Contrast or compare.
this is where you put, so you have to say that. You do by comparing, to explore themes, both regret and explore themes of marriage and freedom for women in the late 19th century by comparing or contrasting, right? You would choose that because it compares or contrasts with comparisons or whatever. But what are your points that you're trying to make? This is where you have to find your points. Okay, so you go through the story by comparing, I'm just gonna say comparing, contrasting. You don't have to use both words. I like for you to use, contrasting if you're really showing differences, okay? But if you're gonna mix it up, you can just say a comparison. Cause a comparison does not mean that it's not a contrast. Does that make sense? A comparison does not automatically mean that it is not contrasting. It just means that you just got two, this is an apple, this is an orange, I'm comparing them. This is an apple and an orange, I'm contrasting them. I don't have to say what doesn't need to be said, right? Okay, comparing. With comparisons, because it compares, contrast, comparisons, like that, right? Of, and then you have to put your points. You come up with your points. So what is it from the story that you're looking for? You have to find it.
So on that one, you're basically following point by point?
This was your intro.
Oh, okay.
This was your intro, so it's up to you. All I did, only reason why I did by, because with, you could use any one of those.
Oh, just for like the thesis to like for your answers?
Yes,
Okay.
any one of those. Does that make sense? You're not gonna, remember in that one we were looking at, they just said compare and contrast these points. They didn't give us the sentence before and make it flow. That's what I want you to do. So y'all got this one?
Yes.
Okay. And remember once again, isn't it, you can do 1, 2, or 3 as in either, or, got it? 1 or 2 or 3. Those are ways just to get your answer in there. All right, so now we got that. So now we're gonna look at how does Chopin use imagery and symbolism to convey the themes of, the theme, let's move that, of regret or loss in both Regret and The Story of an Hour, okay? So for that one, now mind you, I'm left-handed, so this is gonna be harder. So it's the same thing. Do you have your, we got our, yeah, that whatever, our summary, right? You know how to do the summary, so we don't have to worry about that anymore, correct? You know what we're doing, you have information there, it's the same thing, it's just summarizing the story. So how does Chopin use imagery and symbolism? So those are two,
Topics that we're supposed to answer?
yeah, I was just trying to decide something. I'm just thinking. So you gotta find out what's imagery. You gotta find your examples of imagery, okay? So whatever your imagery is, you need to find it. And whatever the symbolism, what is the symbolism? So we know her looking out the window, right? It's a symbol of something.
Of freedom.
It's a symbol of freedom. The imagery, when she's looking out the window, remember she sees and hears things. She's doing the exact opposite of what you would expect during that time. If I heard that my husband, if I heard that my ex-husband had died, even him being my ex, I'm not gonna all of a sudden hear birds singing. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna hear any of that because I was not and am not oppressed. I am not miserable. Does that make sense?
She's not grieving.
She was not grieving. She was not grieving at all. She was overwhelmed with relief. Does that mean that she wanted him dead? No. It just meant she definitely didn't even know that she might get an opportunity to have her freedom. And here it came, it fell into her lap and she did not know what to do. So would she possibly grieve later? Yeah, because it's still the late 19th century and here you are about to be an unmarried woman. Yeah, you're gonna have some freedom, but did they have
Back in
a,
those days, it was different.
Yeah, it was different. Did he have some life insurance? You know he didn't. Okay. No. How? No. So she was gonna have some struggles. She might have had to find another husband to actually maintain her way of living, right? Who knows? All right. So how does Chopin use imagery and symbolism to convey the theme of regret or loss in both the regret and the story of an hour? So Chopin. Let me use the other one. Okay. So I'm blocking this because I'm left-handed, you guys. Okay. How does Chopin use imagery? So we're gonna go back again. Now we're saying Chopin here because the sentence that we're rewriting has her name in it, okay? So remember we had that question over here, and I said you did not have to use her name down here because that didn't have it in there. That's your thesis statement. That's part of your thesis statement. Well, this part of it, you have to say her name again. So Chopin uses imagery and symbolism in both. And here, you don't have to say the names of them again, okay? You don't. You can say, because, let me see, she used imagery and symbolism to convey the theme of what? Yeah. You regret? Okay. Hold on. Symbolism to, what does it mean to convey?
Transfer,
To transfer? You sure?
inform,
To inform? Obey? Which one we going with?
Combine.
transfer.
Say trans. And I don't see nobody but her over here looking up the word. Come on now. Y'all, come on. Y'all been in school. Your teacher say, what does something mean? They expect you to get a dictionary. We don't know everything. It's one of those words you know what it means,
And to
right?
inform,
To inform, I think you're right, but I need for everybody to verify that with
To transport or carry to a place.
to convey.
That's what it's.
Convey, to transport or carry. So to carry, to inform, to show, right? So she uses imagery and symbolism to show.
To transport, communicate, or legally transfer property.
Communicate, to communicate. So she uses, and you show when you're communicating. So she uses imagery and symbolism to communicate, to tell about, to discuss the themes of regret, the theme of regret. We wanna go regret or loss?
Regret.
Okay. Chopin uses imagery and symbolism to, we can say convey because we're just retyping it, right? Convey, but now we know what convey means, to communicate, to tell us. Convey the theme of regret in both. And look, because we've already given the names earlier, literary pieces. Regret in both literary pieces. And here's the next one. What are we gonna write? Because you need your answer. So what are you gonna write before you get your answer?
The transition of the summary.
By, because, with, like that. Choose one. Choose one. She uses imagery, imagery and symbolism to communicate the theme of regret in both literary pieces by doing what?
Showing imagery.
No, you gotta come up with your answer. You need an answer of what she's doing. She uses imagery in both literary pieces by, what is it by, what is she doing? By so if it's imagery, by providing visuals with deeper meaning, right? Or providing descriptive images with like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's almost like you have to break it down and tell me. By contrasting, oops, my bad. By contrasting, or what? Contrasting or comparing, whatever, because like that, with comparisons. If one doesn't work, don't use it. Got it? But choose one with comparisons of, and so now you gotta answer. Did y'all get lost?
No, I did. I didn't get lost, but I put imagery of spring, new life, and freedom.
Okay, and I don't know if that will work because that's what you're going to put in your body paragraphs. Okay? But do you see what I'm saying here? You're choosing one. And girl, wake up.
So in that
Wake
one,
up.
so in that one, we're just gonna talk about regret.
No. You choose one.
Oh, of those two.
Yes, you could talk about loss. Or you could talk about regret. Right? Because those are the themes. So it says choose one theme. So you want to talk about, if you're talking about regret, then choose the one theme that you feel like, and only talk about regret from both of them. Or if you want to do loss, then only talk about loss. That's what I'm telling you to do. Let me see.
For regret, we can say that she regrets her freedom.
Here. Take a picture of that. Take a picture of that, because you can use imagery or symbolism to convey the theme of regret or loss.
I remember you saying that last class.
Okay, and I'll fix it on the thing, but if you take a picture of it, then it makes my life easier, because I'm gonna forget, and I need to update it so that everyone knows. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we
Yes,
broke, huh?
Could you please demarcate the explore teams from, just put the line around it?
Explore,
And that's number one.
just put lie?
Yeah, line, just to
Oh,
demarcate it from others. No. The one you're freighting, other side. No. Go, yeah, the other one.
Okay,
Explore
Uh-huh.
theme. What you want me to do?
Just demarcate it, not on the top, down.
Get over here and tell me what you're saying.
Sorry for that.
You do not apologize for your beautiful language, okay?
So
Oh.
you know this one is different from,
Okay,
the thesis from
yes.
I'm separated.
oh, yeah, good English.
Okay.
No, because if I had other colors, then you would have definitely gotten that. Okay, so this one is your thesis. And this was the first part of your intro. Intro with summary. Because I spelled it as you. I don't think that's how you spell it. Summary.
S-U-M-M-A-R.
You can't even tell I was a third grade spelling bee champion. Tell you, it's hard out here getting old. Okay. So there, so we're changing that one, but look, I love my students so much, and that includes the other ones. Y'all take everything I just did here, right? Choose one thing.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna do that for my others. Y'all online, see if you watch the video, you'll know, right? For the first one, you're gonna choose one theme, not two. So, let me see, so marriage, freedom, or societal expectations for women in the late 19th century. To
So we can
explore,
just pick marriage,
the
freedom, or
theme.
social expectations.
the theme. How do both regret, because you are already comparing two stories, okay?
Yes.
So how do both regret and the story of an hour explore the theme of marriage, freedom, or societal expectations for women in the late 19th century? Okay, so that's one. And then the second one, how does Chopin use imagery or symbolism to convey the theme of regret or loss in both regret and the story of an hour? And the last one, what are the societal expectations and reality of marriage that Chopin portrays? I don't think I need to change that one.
I have a question.
Yes.
For the first one, if we want to do the 2, is it okay?
Yes. You just do strong. Be strong with it, girl. Okay? So, what are the societal expectations and realities of marriage that Chopin portrays in both regret and the story of an hour? All right, so for that one, it is the same thing, okay? The societal expectations. So this one is 1, right? And then here's this one. I'm killing these poor little markers. The societal expectations. And once again, rules, right? Expectations, society and realities of marriage. That Chopin portrays and you can once again do both literary pieces, something like that, or you can say the names, right? And both are. And now here, guess what? This one is so simple because you need to just come up with the societal expectations and realities, right? So listen. So I didn't tell you how many to list, but what you're doing is if the societal expectation is this and the reality is that, you need to give both. Does that make sense? So if you're coming up with 2 different things, so marriage, societal expectation, whatever it is, marriage is hard, then you have to give, marriage is a beautiful, loving, whatever, then you have to give the contrast. So this one is definitely, or it seems like it will be a contrasting essay, okay? But with this one, you're just gonna say what they are, and then you're gonna do 1, 2, and or 3, and that's your thesis statement. Got it? Y'all understand? Y'all good?
Yes.
Okay, so I feel like I've been right.
Question for the slide on the on our e-campus on our computer. Do we have to write something on there, or that's where we're uploading the actual essay?
What you know about this thing right here?
No, on the discuss the essay topic choices, like for us on our computers.
On your computer, so hold on, let me.
Like on here.
Hold on, hold on, I just wanna get that, cause I'm gonna close, I'm gonna change the screen. What just happened? I don't even think I should do that, cause I think I have it on camera. I have it on film. Alright, so you're saying, when we go into the chapter, so when you go into content, alright, so when you go into content, right here, this is where you write your summary of regret, right? This is where you write your summary of the story of an hour, and then you have your text dissection where you're doing whatever. And this in your discussion,
Yeah, like right
there, do you want us to just put like our intro summary thesis or?
No, this is a discussion. This is a discussion, okay? So you're literally supposed to go in and discuss.
Okay.
So you click on it however, and you go into the assignment. It will not let you see anyone else's until you post your discussion.
Okay.
And your answer should be written in race. What I'm gonna tell you now is that you just saw how I changed it, okay? So make sure your answer matches how we changed it, if you have not done it, okay? I will go in, I don't think, because of what time it is right now, I don't think I'm gonna stay and get it, oh, wait a minute. I might, no, cause I'm not doing it with the MacBook, I don't like screenshots on, the regular kind of computers. So, I'll switch those out, so make sure your discussion matches it in the sense that it says, explore, how does both regret and whatever, explore the theme of marriage, freedom, or, okay, societal expectations for women. Make sure this one says how, when you answer it, how does Chopin use imagery or symbolism to convey the theme of regret or loss? Got it?
Oh, these, okay, imagery or symbolism.
Yeah. So I know the likelihood of me opening up my computer tonight, once I leave here, is absolutely slim to none. I open my computer at work in the morning and I'll take care of this. Got it? Everything is due, I think, what's due by the 15th?
Yes.
The story.
It's basically
I'm gonna
it.
save everything.
Oh, we're right here in this. Hold on. We're right here in here. So your rough draft, so your rough draft was due on the 15th, right? So all of this was due, cause it's not a lot. You're writing your summary and your text dissection and then your, what's it called? Your discussion. So I wanted your rough draft due on the 15th, so you have a whole week to just write your essay. Why are you looking at me like that?
By the 15th?
No,
Right,
the 22nd.
Okay.
It's due on the 22nd.
Oh, okay.
You can do it, especially with the new additions, to make it easier, right?
So rough draft is the
So all of
discussion.
this is due the 15th. Okay.
It is. It is due the 15th.
And then the rough draft is